First of all, thank you so much, Bruno. That's greatly appreciated, and I want to thank all the women and men behind me. You guys are absolute champions. I want to welcome my PC candidates, Michael Kersner and David Piccini. I'm thrilled to be here with my good friend Bruno. I've known him for years, and the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades. To receive their endorsement, I'm so honored, I'm so humbled to have so many unions and workers stand with us as we work together to protect Ontario. Over the last 7 years, Ontario has come so far. We've attracted over $70 billion worldwide in new investments into Ontario's economy, in our auto sector, in manufacturing, in life sciences, in tech, and artificial intelligence, just to name a few. Today, 1 million more people are working than in 2018. You know, we double-checked the figures with Stats Canada. I've been saying 850,000. It's actually 1,600,000 more people. Those are staggering figures. It's been a true Team Ontario effort. Workers, unions, businesses, mayors, municipalities, everyone stepped up. Now, Team Ontario has a new, more urgent challenge. As long as Donald Trump is in the White House, Ontario will stare down the threat of economic risk and uncertainty. Hundreds of thousands of jobs are on the line. Whether he imposes them next week, next month, or next year, President Trump will use the threat of tariffs to get what he wants. We need to be ready for anything. We're going to be ready for everything. Friends, today we're released our plan to protect Ontario. It's a plan that will protect Ontario workers with immediate supports for the people hit hardest by whatever tariffs President Trump imposes, and significant new investments to train and retrain workers for in-demand jobs in the skilled trades. Our plan to protect Ontario will build our economy, diversify our trade, and make our province the most competitive place in the G7 to invest, create jobs, and do business. It will protect our neighborhoods from dangerous criminals, clean up our streets by clearing out encampments, and enforce the ban on drug injection sites near schools and daycare centers. Our plan will protect Ontario. Ontario will improve the care and services you depend on. No matter what President Trump throws our way, because of the foundation of a strong healthcare system, a strong education system, a strong social services system, is a strong economy. That is our foundation of making sure we fund everything else, is our economy. Friends, on Thursday, February 27th, I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking for a mandate, a strong, stable, 4-year mandate that outlives and outlasts the Trump administration, to do whatever is necessary to protect Ontario. The stronger the mandate, the stronger the message that we'll send together. Canada will never, ever be the 51st state. Canada is not for sale. Thank you. Friends, we're going to get through this. We'll get through this stronger and more united than ever before, and I promise you this, I will fight like I've never fought before, to protect you, to protect workers, to protect businesses, to protect families and communities. I will fight, like I said, like I've never fought before. And I'm going to have 40 million other people in Canada fighting with me, and 16 million people from Ontario. To protect Ontario, I just want to thank you again for your endorsement, Bruno. Thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much. Thank you, buddy.
We will now open the floor for questions from the media. Please come to the mic and state your name and outlet. Just a reminder, it's one question and one follow-up. First question.
Hey there, Barbara with QP Briefing. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm good. I was just wondering, you released your COSA platform today, and there's a lot of big promise in there, high spendings. I'm wondering if that means that you have no intention of delivering a balanced budget this time?
Well, it depends on the deficit. If it, if the tariffs hit us, yes, we won't be able to balance, because just similar to the pandemic, we're going to invest into the people. I'm going to protect the families, protect businesses, protect jobs right here. That's what I'm going to do.
Thank you. So I also saw that you made the passing the Safer Municipalities Act part of your campaign platform. But this is something you could have done before calling the election as well. And now we see it is part of the platform, but there are only 3 days for voters to go out and actually vote. So why should they trust that you actually take decisive action on that?
I apologize. I didn't hear the first part of that question.
It's so noisy here, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just like, now this is part of the platform, but this is something you could have done before even calling the election, and we only have 3 days to go. So I'm just wondering, why should voters trust you to actually take decisive action on that?
Well, they can trust us just by looking at what we've done over the last 7 years. I got to remind everyone, under the previous government, they chased 300,000 jobs out of our province. All we saw are taillights heading south of the border. Today, there's over 1,600,000 people working that weren't working before because we created the environment and the climate for companies to invest from all over the world. Over $70 billion came here to invest. You know, I always say this, we're the only government in recent memory, I can't even remember, I've been in this for 3 decades, we've never ever raised a tax. Matter of fact, we reduced taxes, putting money back into people's pockets. No matter if it's the 11 cents a liter that we've taken off the gas tax, now we have to get that terrible carbon tax that will be up to 20 cents in April. That has to come off. We reduced the cost of living by putting money back into people's pockets, the $200 checks, that the opposition believes it's their money. See, politicians believe the government, that's their money. It's not their money. It's the people behind me. It's the people in Ontario that are paying taxes. That's what we're focused on, reducing the cost of the burden off the backs of companies and people. Reduce the cost of doing business by $8 billion here, making us more competitive than anywhere in the world to invest in. We got rid of the tolls on the 412, 418. We got rid of the last 44 kilometers on the 407. That's saving people $7,200. The one fare. I could keep listing these, going on and on and on. The license plate sticker, got rid of that. But guess what? The Liberals and NDP, they say they're gimmicks. Giving back taxpayers' money is a gimmick to them. So there's one thing certain with the NDP and Liberals, they believe in one thing. Tax the people to death, tax businesses to death, chase out businesses from the province, reduce jobs. That's what they believe in. I don't believe in that.
Hi, Mr. Ford. Jack Howan from the Trillium.
Hi, Jack.
Hi. You've created yearly goals for getting Ontarians attached to primary care in this platform.
That's right.
I'm just wondering, given that you've had almost 7 years to make progress on the file, what happens if you don't hit those goals? How are you going to hold yourself accountable?
Well, I'm very confident. Let's talk about healthcare. We're the only government that's investing $50 billion in 50 new hospitals. Never been done ever in the history of Canada. No matter where you live, you're getting an addition to a hospital, or you're getting a brand new hospital. Let's look at when the previous government were firing nurses, not building hospitals, and getting rid of seats in medical schools. We've done the opposite for the first time. And you know, for instance, in Peel, in 100 years, we're actually building a medical school out in Peel. We're building one in York University, over at U of T in Scarborough, up north. We're adding hundreds and hundreds of more graduate seats and undergrad seats. We've produced over 15,000 new doctors in the last seven years, 100,000 new nurses, 30,000 nursing students in school, and we're paying for their education. You know, that's what we believe in, is taking care of the upcoming next generation of medical students, and we're going to continue working on it. We've hired Dr. Jane Philpott, and it just goes to show I don't care what political color you come from. She's well renowned around the entire country, and in 4 years we're going to connect 1.8. We're going to spend $1.8 billion connecting every single person. But you know something? We have the closest connection of population versus primary care, 90% in the entire country. Is 90% good enough? Not at all. And that's why we've hired Dr. Jane Philpott to make those connections. And we've spent $33 billion more in healthcare than any other government in the history of Ontario.
I don't see any mention in the platform of the 1.5 million homes by 2031 goal. I'm wondering, given that your government is off track so far in meeting that goal, do you need to switch up your strategy at all, and are you still committed to that number?
Well, I'm going to respectfully disagree. We set records in Ontario in 21, 22, 23. Interest rates were up. They're coming down a little bit, so we're going to go full steam ahead. We put the Building Faster Fund together, which was over $1 billion, I think $1.2 billion, to hand out to cities to meet their targets. Now, we got rid of the HST. We led the country in getting rid of the HST on purpose-built rentals. We set a new record on purpose-built rentals. But I'm a very strong believer that if we reduce the burden and get permits from the cities are responsible for building permits, to cut it down from 5 years, believe it or not, folks, it takes 5 years in some regions to get a permit for an apartment or a condo. It's staggering. And I encourage all the municipalities, and I have to give a shout out to a few. The great mayor from Mississauga reduced her development charges by 50%, so did Vaughan, and everyone else should follow that. That lowers the cost of development fees.
Rami Botros, Oxygen Media. Thank you very much, Premier, for
Thank
your
you.
efforts, or your remarkable efforts on the health
Thank you.
sector. But still there is a long waiting queues for the emergency and some of the health services.
Yes.
Are you planning in your new plan to extend more services to the private medical sector?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question. You know, you hear that it might take an MRI up to 9 months or 10 months to get an MRI. We're building more MRIs around the province. We've added over 49 new MRI machines. We truly believe when it comes to hip or knee or cataracts, that's happening right now, by the way. If we have surgical centers around Ontario, then they're going to be able to go in there, pay by their OHIP card, I'm going to repeat that, pay by their OHIP card, and be able to get it done a lot quicker. We're going to make sure that we drive efficiencies throughout the hospitals. And, you know, when I talk to emergency department docs, their biggest complaint is 50% of the people should not be in the emergency department. So someone comes in with a sore throat or a sore finger or a little scrape, they need stitches, they have to go down the hallway to the clinic. And the real emergencies should be taken care of. But we're going to continue increasing the funding to hospitals until they can deal with that. But thank you for the question.
Hi, Lorenda Redekop with CBC News.
Hi, Lorenda.
Hi. The platform that you've released is not a fully costed platform. You've talked about respecting taxpayers. Doesn't this disrespect taxpayers?
Not at all. We were pretty clear that if these tariffs come, our investment is going to be over $40 billion, no matter if it's loans or other investments we have for people and businesses to make sure they're secure. Here, if Trump's tariffs come and hit us, we've been very fiscally responsible. We're prudent fiscal managers with the taxpayers' money. Not only haven't we raised taxes, we reduced the cost of paying on debt from previous governments better than we ever have, that I can remember, probably 20 years. We just got upgraded from 2 credit agencies this year alone. Reason we got upgraded credit agencies, increased our credit, is because we're fiscally responsible. We're pouring $200 billion into infrastructure, and the credit agencies love to see money spent into infrastructure, and that's what we're doing.
In the platform, there's a new promise on alcohol, removing the minimum pricing for alcohols and spirits. Why?
Because that's the taxpayers' money. It's putting money back into people's pockets. So under the Liberals, and I got to explain to the folks in this room here, you know, they would say you have to charge this much, because if you don't charge this much, then people will drink too much. That's the biggest joke I've ever heard. They don't do it in Alberta. They don't do it in Quebec. So why do we have to have a base? Let's reduce the cost of that, put more money back into people's pockets again, and that's like a tax break, and that's what we believe in keeping everything at a lower cost. So we're going to make sure that we reduce the cost of the fees and the taxes on alcohol.
Mr. Ford, Richard Southern, 680 News Radio.
Hi,
Hello. A couple of weeks ago at a campaign stop, you were asked why your party is the only one not promising to double ODSP. In your response, you made mention of, I quote, healthy young people that are sitting on the couch watching the Flintstones. They should be out there. They should be working, you said. An NDP candidate has since called those comments, quote, despicable. Others have said it perpetuates the myth that those on social services are frauds or are being lazy. My question, do you have any evidence of fraud in the disability support program? And if not, do you regret your Flintstone comments, sir?
Okay, well, first of all, you're totally incorrect on that statement. I said the people on Ontario works. And I always emphasize, Richard, and you didn't say this, that people that are healthy, and there's 260,000 jobs available. If they're healthy, they should be out there looking for gainful employment. What I have said 100 times, if someone has a severe disability, we will take care of them for the rest of their lives. We're increasing ODSP payments by rate of inflation, and we're going to continue supporting the people that cannot work. That's what we're going to do.
On another matter, many voters here in the city of Toronto perhaps may be thinking of Ontario Place and the more than $2 billion they're now spending on it. I know you've made mention of how this could be a great final product. Many people will go to the final product, and you might be right. But why are you spending $2 billion taxpayer dollars when other bidders for this project were promising to cover many of these costs?
Well, again, you're incorrect on the $2 billion. You're adding in a fictitious parking lot that we're getting costing on, so that's a whole other story. But we're making an attraction. It's going to be world-class. It's going to be the #1 attraction in the entire country. We're expecting 5 to 6 million people. And the same people that are critics are going to show up to a concert, down at Ontario Place with the new amphitheater. They're going to bring the kids to the water slide. We have 40 football fields. Just think of this, 40 football fields of open realm space that's never been done. Under the previous guy, in a brand new science center. I always say it's amazing. We're the only jurisdiction, people in Toronto, the government says we're going to build you a beautiful, brand new, state-of-the-art, more exhibit space, invest in a science center in a much better location to attract people from all over the world. And some people say, no, I don't want to do that. Let's go down to an old decrepit building, and it's just not cutting it. But it will be the #1 attraction in all of Canada. Mark my words, it's going to be out of this world. Let's compare it to the previous government that left it there for 15 years. Dandelions are coming up. It's a wasted piece of property. We believe in building, and it's going to be spectacular there. And just watch how many people show up to the new Ontario Place. It's going to be outstanding.
This will be the last reporter.
Brianna Lim, the Canadian Press. The platform you released today contains $40 billion in promises, but no breakdown of how you'll pay them. You've said you won't increase or implement new taxes, but are you planning on any other ways to generate revenue or any cuts to offset this new spending?
Absolutely. That $40 billion is going to be allocated in case these tariffs come. And these are new investments too. It's a combination of both. But let's go back 7 years ago. The income here in the province was $150 billion. They taxed everyone up the yin-yang. That's all they did is continue taxing people. Let's move forward 7 years. We've seen revenue climb $64 billion more without raising a tax. So it went from $150 billion to $214 billion, never raising a tax, reducing taxes. Where did we get the $64 billion? It's because we attracted new companies that invested $70 billion, and they're all paying taxes. Now, the Stats Canada came out, there's 1 million more people paying taxes today than there was 7 years ago. There were 7,230,000 people employed. Now there's over 8,234,000, I think, employed. So when you create the environment, people will come here and invest. We have the greatest people in the world. We have the greatest tradespeople. A lot of them are right behind me. That's the future. We're investing over $2.5 billion into the trades. That's the future standing behind me. These are the people that are going to be building the $200 billion of infrastructure, the roads, the bridges, the highways, the hospitals, the schools, the long-term care homes. So we believe in investing. The other two parties believe in one thing: tax you to death.
I wanted to clarify. I just wanted to clarify your answer on housing. To be clear, are you still committed to 1.5 million homes by 2031?
Absolutely we are. We're going to work our backs off. We're going to make sure that the municipalities pitch in and reduce the burden from getting a new home. You know, it's unacceptable. It takes up to 5 years to get permits. It's just totally unacceptable. We're going to hold them accountable. It's unacceptable when they put a development charge on, and sometimes before you get the shovel with the development charge and the fees and everything, it's over $100,000. For what? Do you know where the $100,000 coming from? Is the first-time home buyer. I don't believe in that. Let's lower the cost of these development fees is that, I always say municipalities, they don't have an income problem, they have a spending problem. I lived it down at the city of Toronto with my brother Rob. We saved over $1 billion, put a 0% tax increase our very first year. It can be done if you want it done.
Thank you. This concludes today's press conference.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.